This afternoon on the marketplace, government charged to take bold and innovative measures to mobilize resources and allocate them judiciously to support long-term sustainable economic growth. We'll hear from the Institute of Economic Affairs expectations of the 2022 budget. Plus, Venture Capital Trust Fund targets youth employment in $45 million economic program.
Fortunately for us, the Ministry of Finance has put us on the Ghana Economic Transformation Program, a program that is going to actually give us about 45 million USD that we are going to invest over the next 4 or 5 years.
The Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund, Owusu-Brempong, will join us live with more details. Plus, as Ghana's unemployment crisis deepens, we will tell you why technical vocation skills development can be the next hub of employment.
Being a lady into the entrepreneurship space, I think the knowledge I have in IT will help me to build my entrepreneurship skills and also help me become a better entrepreneur.
And later in the bulletin, ahead of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, which commences tomorrow, we'll engage one of the sponsors, Signum Development. We have all these and more coming up shortly after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. To our first story, the Institute of Economic Affairs has charged governments to take bold and innovative measures to mobilize resources and allocate them judiciously to support long-term sustainable growth. Now, this, it believes, is capable of delivering sufficiently high living standards to Ghanaians and moving the country out of poverty within a generation. This is a disclosure of its expectations of the 2022 budget and economic planning. Let's stay a little longer on the 2022 budget, and we're joined by partner at the accounting and auditing firm Deloitte, Yao Latte. Yao, we're so grateful that you could join us. Let's start off with the scorecard for the 2021 budget. What's your assessment of the implementation of programs for the year in review?
Yeah, so thank you very much and good afternoon to you and your listeners and viewers. So I think on a whole, we've seen that government programs and policies, some of them have been strictly implemented and are yielding some positive results. So if you see the first and second quarters of the year, the economy expanded by an average of about 3.5%. And those were largely driven by sectors, some of which were hit by the pandemic. So strongly driving the economy in the first half of the year is the services sector. All right. Particularly, we are seeing a lot of activity in the hotel and hospitality subsectors of the service sector. All right. I think those are good ones here. So
what are expectations for that of 2022 to be presented next month? We're hearing the finance minister already hint of policies to guide entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I think for us, some of the points that were made in the previous budget, which I guess we suggested to government to take another look at, was the new taxes that were introduced. All right. So, for instance, the National Health Insurance Levy that was increased by 1 percentage point, taxes that were introduced for the banking sector, financial sector cleanup. Those we want government to review. Okay, I'm in a meeting. Well, those taxes. Go on. Yeah, so once government reviews them, we expect businesses to benefit from those taxes here.
Well, Yao Latte, we're so grateful that I could join us as a partner at the accounting and auditing firm Deloitte, helping us understand the expectations ahead of the budget. Well, Venture Capital Trust Fund is targeting youth empowerment in the next 2 years to support government initiatives aimed at reducing growing youth unemployment. Now, the fund is expected to inject about $45 million through fund management firms in support of youth innovation and entrepreneurship. Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund, Yao Owusu-Brempong, will join us via Zoom with more shortly. But first, here is a report as he spoke to us after launching the Ghana Venture Capital and Private Equity Association in Accra.
Growing unemployment has been a concern for government in the past few years due to the security implications. Supporting startups and young entrepreneurs is expected to be high on the agenda of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, with a $45 million fund from the World Bank. According to Chief Executive Yao Owusu-Brempong, the processes will begin by the close of the year.
Venture capital can actually partner with a lot of fund managers to fund startup companies so that we can actually create a lot of entrepreneurs in the country. Fortunately for us, the Ministry of Finance has put us on the Ghana Economic Transformation Program, a program that is going to actually give us about 45 million USD that we are going to invest over the next 4 or 5 years. There are a lot more that will be coming in addition to the 45 million. Once we start accessing those funds, we are going to create a lot of funds in the area of youth entrepreneurship, women in entrepreneurship, and then even disabled or people with physical disability in entrepreneurship. So there are a lot more in the pipeline, and we believe the future is going to be bright for venture capital and for entrepreneurs and fund managers as well.
Launching the association, Head of Financial Services at the Ministry of Finance, Samson Akligo, described it as timely and urged members to remain committed to the operations of the capital market.
That the launch of this association is very timely and reflects the real values and essence of what we need to grow our country. The figure from the SEC and from the Bank of Ghana tells us that in practice we are way behind what we should be. When you look at the data that we have, and it's quite revealing, pension funds today, because of the reform that we have done, are just about 5% of GDP. We all know, unfortunately, the precursor to the development of venture capital and private equity funds, which are the collective investment scheme, the basic ones, that's just about 0.7% of GDP.
The Ghana Venture Capital and Private Equity Association is a private sector-led initiative that is open to all private equity and venture capital firms operating in Ghana.
And let's now engage the Chief Executive of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, also Prempong, who joins us via Zoom. We're grateful that you could join us. What is the strategy in getting fund managers to support entrepreneurship in Ghana?
Hello?
You're loud and clear. I'm asking what the strategy is in getting fund managers to support entrepreneurship in Ghana.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon to my listeners. The strategy is to get as many fund managers as possible into the venture capital and private equity ecosystem. I think, let me take you back. Recently, a seasoned banker actually said that and startup companies have been approaching the banks for loans, and he believes that loans are short-term while startups need long-term capital, specifically patient capital. And the ones to do that kind of job are venture capital companies and private equity firms. And I think he was right.
So what then is the idea?
What startup companies need is patient capital, which is a bit of medium to long term. And that is where venture capital and private equity firms come in.
What is the idea? What is the idea behind the $45 million fund from the World Bank? Briefly, please.
I'll come to that. Venture Capital Trust Fund was set up to provide funding to SMEs through venture capital financing companies. That we are a fund of funds. And so we do not invest directly to or with individual companies, but rather through fund managers. These are professionals. They actually do due diligence, selecting companies that are viable, but probably a bit riskier, but viable. So the key word here is viability.
Yeah, and so we get the background information and we appreciate that. But help us understand, apart from the fund, what other initiatives has the fund been embarking on in the past few years? Briefly, please.
Come again?
Apart from the fund, what particular initiative has the fund been embarking on in the past few years?
No, the fund is our core business. And the other initiative is to get experienced fund managers in the ecosystem, as many as possible, because that is what is lacking. And then in addition to that, making sure that we are able to raise enough funds and then see these first-time managers so that they are well equipped in terms of financing. And then they can actually translate that or transfer that to investee companies. So the key word here, or the key rule here, is then getting experienced fund managers, providing them with the funding. And you mentioned the 45 million from the World Bank. And the Ministry of Finance has a program with the World Bank called Ghana Economic Transformation Program.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of companies involved in that program.
All right.
And venture capital is one of them.
And we shall hope to see how this particular fund pans out. We shall hope to see how this pans out. We're so sorry, pressed for time, but we're grateful for your submission. Yao Superimpong is Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund, helping us understand matters regarding unemployment. Speaking of unemployment, even as the crisis deepens, there are questions about the disconnect between academia and industry. Players in the Technical and Vocational Institute believe so. The Chief Executive of Design and Tech Institute, Constance Swanika, wants an overhaul of the educational system, saying it does not meet current industrial needs. In this particular feature, we explore how TVET can be the next hub for employment in Ghana. And Technical Institute class is in session.
I'm using HTML and C++ to create a web page. We started this last week. Last week we learned HTML, and this week we started with CSS.
Nora Mohammed comes from a family of 8 that bears a history of failed entrepreneurs. She wants to break the cycle, this time around through the use of technical and vocational training.
My sister is an entrepreneur and she's facing a lot of challenges, looking at the fact that we are moving into a technological world, and most of the things you have to do, especially in this era, is IT based. So I decided to come to DTI to learn more of IT, to equip myself more, and also fit well into the world of today.
You know, you hear the finance minister say that graduates would have to now look at, being entrepreneurs because the public purse is full. How does this inform you as a lady moving into the tech space as an
entrepreneur? And also at my youthful age, let's say something like software development in entrepreneurship, you can create something like your website where you can use to advertise your stuff, graphic designing where you can create flyers and other stuff for advertisement.
TVET still remains a third choice for many students out there who find blue-collar jobs less rewarding as compared to white-collar jobs. These students are quite busy with their tools. It's a Welding Division, and I'm quite interested in hearing the story of Regina. She's in the second Enclave Fair. To get to hear her story about why she chose this male-dominated profession and the dreams that she has in achieving this particular, feat of becoming a female welder in her own right. Here in the welding department of DTI is a daring young woman who wants to create an empire of this male-dominated space. So for how long have you been training?
It's been a month only, but then it's really impressive how quickly they teach us.
Okay.
Yes, and how they put all these skills into us. Imagine when we're done after a year, we'll be fully equipped for the working field. And we're also going to be placed at our various positions.
So where would you want to practice the skill in? Where would you want to practice the skill?
Outside Ghana.
Outside Ghana?
Yes, but then definitely within Ghana, because this is where it all starts.
All right.
And this is where it all is.
I can open the arms. And lock the person. So once I lock it, there is a hydraulic jack here, which has the ability to cause the patient, when jack can cause the patient to come up. Once the patient is up, I can just wheel the patient off to wherever I want to, even to the sitting room, to the bedroom, wherever. Whenever I need the height to be adjusted, I just use the jack over here to cause the lifting motion to happen. And that's wonderful. Once they are able to come up with this, our hospitals need this. Our nurses need to be relieved of the burden they have in lifting patients every day. Our homes, we need this thing. Once they are able to develop this idea and come up with a better version of this, they're already in business.
As Ghana's unemployment crisis deepens, industry players in the technical and vocational education training are making a case for an overhaul of the education system. Acting head of DTI, Jemima Jackson, walks me through how this can be achieved.
We actually go out into the community. So for instance, this year we visited places like Abobloshi, the timber market, tech shelter, etc. And then with the hope of the students actually identifying problems in the communities. And these children come from all over Ghana, so different regions, and they have specific problems in their communities. So they identify the problems and then they come up with solutions. And we help them to solve these problems in their communities.
We are seeing impact solutions from this institute.
Right.
How does this also impress on the entire need for the next generation of entrepreneurs in Ghana?
Okay, with that, what we're encouraging students is don't sit down and wait for somebody to give you a job, but rather look into yourself, look into the talents that you have, and develop the skills and get the right help and start something on your own.
Statistics from the World Bank shows that 50% of Ghana's workforce are underemployed and 12% faced with youth unemployment. Unemployment cases plateaued from 2017 but spiked through to 2020 in the heat of the COVID pandemic. But what could have gone wrong with Ghana's inability to link academia with industry?
Young people are being churned out, year after year. But what is missing is the hands-on. Industry is also not a training ground. So there's a need for higher level conversation where we need to look at how do we close all these gaps.
Just as many other entrepreneurs, Constance has had to surmount various hurdles to achieve her goals, including the birth of the Design Technology Institute. She wants a relook into an educational system that aligns with government industrialization drive.
Industrialization does not happen without quality human talent. Human capital will build bridges and roads and construction and agriculture and you name it. The industrialization agenda cannot happen if we don't have people who, like I said, work in overalls and work on factory floors. Take the example of Germany, take the example of China, India, you name it. All the industrialized countries had a solid TVET system. So we have woken up to the realization that, it's not office jobs anymore, but let's spin it back to historically the colonial era. We were trained to be civil servants.
Exactly.
To suit a particular need. But now we've reached a stage where we have to produce what we eat, produce what we sit on, begin to champion our own causes. And then I would also like us to talk about when the borders shut, post-COVID.
Exactly.
We leapfrogged into the fourth industrial revolution, right?
Yeah, instantly.
And then,
economies world over were closing borders, producing things for themselves, and Ghana was left. We were just so much advantaged, to see some of these SMEs strive to produce things locally. But yet again, it begs the question about the future of jobs in Ghana and the state in which we are prepared to embrace the future of jobs in Ghana. As you're sitting here as an industrialist, I'll term it that way, and a TVET professional, how concerned are you about the future of jobs, the state of the future of jobs post-COVID-19 in Ghana?
I think for me, I'm not worried because it presents new opportunities, and so let's discuss new opportunities.
But do you think we're ready for these opportunities? Again,
I always say that because I'm an entrepreneur, thinking again as an entrepreneur, and have an entrepreneurial mindset, seeing opportunities, opportunities everywhere. So if you look at a few industries who quickly realize that, we can produce masks and all of a sudden, sanitizers for me.
And that's the story of TVET institutions birthing employment avenues amid Ghana's unemployment crisis. But let's now talk the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. It's starting tomorrow at the Accra International Conference Center. And of course, we engaged bespoke homes provider Signum Development on expectations at the mega event. Remember, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitat. It's under the theme, Home Ownership, to Build or to Buy. And we're joined in studio by Blessing Chuku, the head of sales, and of course, Sigmund Development, and as well Diane Owusu, the digital marketing officer, manager actually, of the company. I want to start with you, Blessing. Tell us about this particular company and the reasons why you decided to be a part of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair.
Okay, so Signum Development is a project management and consulting firm located in Chado. And what we do is we focus on residential and commercial real estate development. We have a keen interest in this area, and for this reason we have different types of houses. We have semi-furnished apartments and then townhomes, either detached or semi-detached units in a well-secured and gated community. Right. At the moment we have over 128 homes either in Chado, either inhabited or under construction, and we believe we have a lot more to offer to the Ghanaian populace, and that's the reason why we are participating in the Joy News Habitat Fair. This is actually our first time. I
heard the term bespoke, so what's special about your offer that should entice patrons ahead of the fair?
So what we do is our design is not cast in stone, and we give people the opportunity to come up with different designs. Okay. And we have various experienced, skillful architects who do the designs for us. So whatever design you want, whatever complex structure it is, we are available to have our architects engage you on that to give you the design you want.
Let me bring in Diane. I want to understand the kind of developments that are going to be highlighting at the fair.
So we are starting to highlight three main ones. So the first one is something I'm really excited about. It's our Nakwale apartments. So if you have heard of us, you know that the Nakwale is our signature. Okay. So these are 2-bedroom apartments that are designed with the same way as the Nakwale. It's clean, beautiful lines.
Nakwale?
Yes.
Okay. That's a Ghana.
That's the great thing about us. A lot of our developments have Ghana names. So the other one is Teko, actually, which is a family home. So you've got enough space. You've got an outdoor kitchen. You've got a kitchen, a family area. And the last one is one of our newest developments that we are actually haven't officially launched yet. Okay. So we will be bringing it out for the first time tomorrow, which is Romana Gardens in Oyarifa. So there's a lot, but obviously people will have to attend to find out more information.
Great. Let me squeeze in 30 seconds for each of you. Why should anyone approach the space of your company in the Joy News Habitat Fair? 30 seconds, then I come to you.
Okay, so first of all, we are a very trusted company. We believe in peer-to-peer marketing. We believe that we have a lot of clients who have tasted what we have to offer, and they are very satisfied. So once we don't even do adverts on traditional media, because we believe that when the client is satisfied, they would sell our products for us. Okay. So first of all, you come to us because you trust that we can do what you want us to do and we'll deliver on our promise. That's good. And secondly, we don't borrow to build, so we have very competitive pricing. We know that if we borrow to build, we'll transfer the cost to the client, and we want to avoid that.
So Diane, any contacts if prospective clients would want to reach you on?
Yes, so we've got our social media channels. Obviously, I'm the digital manager, so I do have to talk about that. So on Facebook, Instagram, we are Signum Development, and also on LinkedIn, you can find us on Signum Development. On our website and on other platforms, we have Blessing's phone number, so you can just reach her via WhatsApp as well.
On 050-142-9981.
Great. So ladies, we shall be there to check out the things that you have for us, on the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair. We're grateful that I could join us, Blessing and Diane. I think one name that resonates in my mind is Nakwale, so I'll visit that particular flat and see what you have in store. But great. So we're grateful once again, ladies. And of course, Blessing Chuku is the head of sales, Signum Development. Diane Owusu is also digital marketing manager of Signum Development. One interesting thing, they're all ladies. So hey, you have no doubt about that. Well, that's how we end this edition of The Marketplace. We're grateful that you could make it. And of course, enjoy the rest of our bulletins. I'm Charles Aite.